Hi, what you are seeing here is the final version of a complete data analysis project in Excel, a real-time dynamic HR analytics dashboard that updates automatically whenever new data is added. This interactive dashboard can be filtered based on the user's needs. The project is designed to allow data input from any device, whether it is your phone, tablet, or computer, and works both online and offline, with updates happening instantly. Don't worry, I've got your covered. I will include the dataset link in the description, so you can skip ahead and jump straight into the dashboard creation part. I will also provide the Excel dataset, so even if you don't have an internet connection, you can still follow along with the entire project. While I will demonstrate how to design the dashboard background, I will also include the exact background file in the description. This way, you can choose what works best for you and follow along with ease. If you found this helpful, please support the channel by hitting the subscribe button. Let's dive in. So let's start with the form creation in Kobo. So let's open Kobo. It is completely free. Let's create an account. Global Kobo Toolbox Server. Okay. So let's put our details. It doesn't really need to be real ones, but the most important should be your email address. So for the full name, I will put data professional. For the username, which is very important, put it in minimal data with no space, please. You put your real email address because Kobo is going to send you a confirmation email. So for the sector, you can put anything. The country, you can put anything. It does not matter. Okay, so this is the terms of service. You can read through, but the most important is to tick on agree, and then you put a strong password of your choice. Okay, let's click on create account. So now Kobo has sent a confirmation email to your email address. You can just open it. There are many links you can read through to learn more about this, but what we are interested in is this first link because it is what we confirm our email. Okay, our email address is confirmed. So let's log in now. You put the same username you used and the password. Okay, now we are in. The first thing we want to do is to go on new to create a new form. We want to build it from scratch. So for the project name, I'm going to put HR form. So for your project, you can put whatever you want. Once again, for the sector, it is not, it's up to you. You can put whatever you want. Me, I will put other. And the country, you put any country. The description, you can put anything. So here, this is our form, but it is empty. So let's click on this plus button. The first question you want is the name, but no, let's put employee ID. So now this is the data type. What is the data type of the question? You want it to be text. Okay, so let's move to the next question. The next question should be the name. Let's add the data type. It should also be a text. Let's call it full name. Okay, let's add another question, which is the gender. For the gender, we want to click select one so that the username will have option and we will select only one option. Let's put male and female. The next question is age. For the age, let's put it as date. The data type should be the date so that the username will just have the calendar and choose the date. The next question is department. Okay, let's also put it select one. So we are going to put the list of departments so that the user can simply select the one he wants. I would highly recommend people to actually use the select one option because it avoids users to put wrong data, and it helps you to not to spend time on data cleaning. Okay, so I'm just putting fake data. All these data are fake, so I'm just creating it just to just for this project. Okay, here we can click on preview form. Okay, we are going to see the form, the way it's going to appear. So this is our title. So the employee ID is there, full name. The person can put gender, he can select male or female. The age, this is a calendar. So he can select the date here and whatever. It's very simple and quite user friendly. So for the department, we put select one, so he can only select one. Okay. So let's continue with the other questions of the form. The next question we want to put is the qualification. So once again, as data type, we want it to be a select one. Okay. So let's put all the various options that we would like in our database. So what usually happens in business is that you as data professional, you have a deep conversation with the manager or the client. So he will be the one to tell you what it is that he wants, and you as data professional, you are going to create the form. And the form should actually, you should make sure that each question of the form is going to answer that or those business questions. So let's move on to the next question, marital status. We also want it to be a select one. So we are going to put the various options. Of course, single, married, divorced, and widowed. Okay, so let's move on to the next question, which is nothing but the job satisfaction. So all these questions I'm putting is because I know how the dashboard will look like. So I'm putting questions that will help us for our dashboard. So for the job satisfaction, the option we want to put from 1 to 5, like the user will just input, we just select one. So for this particular one, let's click on question hint. This one is just to help the user to know exactly what it is that he should choose. For instance, let's put that 1 is equal to very dissatisfied, and okay, I did not spell it. Okay, and 5 means very satisfied. So we call it question hint. So it is just there for the user to see what it is that he should put in the question. Let's go and preview this form. Okay, all the questions are there. Look at the job satisfaction. Have you seen the hint? So you can put the hint in every question, but there are some questions that are quite understandable, but other questions are quite tricky. So for the tricky ones, it is good to add a question hint. So let's move on to the next question. So this form, we will put the option that it should be filled both offline and online. Okay. The next one is the employee status. We want to know if the worker is currently working or he left the company. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. So what you should have in mind is that it's not forced to be like systematic. Okay, so you can move from one question to here. When you just put the cursor, the plus sign will come. You can click and then add a question in between two different questions. So let's add a question here. Let's call it date of joining. So we put the data type as date. So it will help us to know exactly when the person joined the company or whatever. Okay, let's create another question, which is the date of leaving. So for that one, we also want the data type to be date. And the last question will be the reason of leaving. So this question, we can put it for the company to know exactly why customer or clients or whoever are leaving. Okay, so let's just put I just asked an AI ChatGPT to give me the main reason why people leave companies, and I put them there. So I'm trying not to put any data that is related to a work I've done in the past, but of course they quite look alike, but it's fine. So I will not put plenty, I will put maybe 5. So let's put health reason and maybe personal reasons, and we stop there. Okay, I think we are good to go. So the next, let's preview it before again. So this is how our form looks like. So you can put the employee ID, you can select the gender, you can select the date here. But for this age, I will change this name. I think it's not appropriate. Okay. So as you can see, the form is quite user friendly, quite easy to use. So let me go and change the name. I don't want age. Let me put it like date of birth. Okay. Well, I think we are good to go for the form. Now let's come and I will show you something. On the right of each question, you can see here the option. This option is to put the question in the library. This one is to duplicate. This one is to delete. And this one is the setting. So we want the setting. The setting is having 3 question options: skip logic and validation. Here we want the question to be mandatory. As you can see, the question is now mandatory. So let's put its question mandatory. So why are we putting it mandatory? The reality is that when you leave a question open, it is now up to the person who collects the data to fill it or not. And because of that, you will find yourself with inconsistent data, and you will be spending time on data cleaning. So for that, we restrict the form to be mandatory. Sometimes even the person forgets to answer one question and he submits the form. So when it comes to you, you will now take your phone, please, that question is not. So that's why it's a good idea to put almost all the questions mandatory. Okay. Okay, we are good to go. So now let's do something else. We want these 2 columns, these 2 questions, date of leaving and reason of leaving, to only appear if the question employee status is left the company. If the answer is currently working, we don't want those questions to appear. So you can come to the setting and then set it here, or you can press your control and you select these 2 questions and we group them here. Okay, they are grouped now. Let's rename call it attrition. So now whatever conditional formatting or whatever we do here, it will affect the 2 columns together. So let's go to option. We go to skip logic. And what are we saying? Let's go to add a condition. So let's select our question. So what we are saying is that when this question is selected, so it should put the equal. If it is equal to left the company, now those two questions should show up, else it should not show up. So let's go and preview the form. Okay, so let's just put fake data. Okay, look, when I put currently working, it is fine. There is nothing else. But if I put left the company, you can see the attrition questions that are there. Okay, so everything worked well. If, for instance, I don't put the answer, you see what happened. There's a pop-up that says this field is required. So we force the person to do. So let's click on save here, and then we close. So now this is how Kobo looks like. So there's this aspect of data where you can see your data here. We have the summary part where there's a lot of information, and we have the settings. Okay, let's come back to the form. What we want is to deploy. What does it mean? Now the form is moving from your computer to the cloud, to the Kobo cloud. So when we go to data now, the cloud is having the form. There's zero submission. Let's come back to the form. This is a very important part. Here you can select whether the form should be filled only offline or online. So it is important to put both online and offline and multiple submissions. So one user can submit the form multiple times. Okay, let's come to summary and we go to share project. So over here, what happens in companies that they don't allow anybody to use the form. So if you have a Kobo account, you just put the name here and then you grant the permission you want. But this managed project means you are granting full access to the project. But because company, they don't want people to be able to fill the form. But for this project, we want everybody to be able to fill the form. So we tick this one, allow submission to this form without a username and password. Let's tick these two boxes. Anyone can view and anyone can submit. For instance, if I use this link that give access to the project, you can see the link is there, the project is there, no matter who has the link. I will put this link in the description. Okay, let's go to our form. So everything is set. Okay, let's copy this link. This is the link that you send to people to fill out the form. Okay, but for now, let's just open. This is how the form looks like in a computer. So if you have a phone, you will see how it looks like in the phone and whatever. You can copy that link and open it with whatever device you want. So let's just put any data, but this time let's take our time a little because now this data will enter into the database. So if you have maybe downloaded the data set link through the link, maybe you will not be required to do all these parts because I will just give you the link with the data set already. Okay, so this is the first submission of the data set. Okay, so let's add like maybe 4 or 3 so that the data set can be quite populated. If it's only one, it's quite strange. So let's add. Okay. Let's put currently working. This is the second form that we submitted. So let's put the last one, at least 3 is okay. So these are just fake data. So I'm just putting anything. For this one, let's assume this employee left the company maybe because of health issues. Okay, we have 3 successful submitted forms. Okay, let's come back to the data. Once we go to data, as you can see, automatically the submissions are there. So we can see everything that we put. And there are some new columns that you will notice. So those columns are automatically assigned by Kobo, like the ID. This ID, we usually use it when we want to build our pipelines and stuff. So this validation is very important. There are 3 options. Either it is not approved, or on hold. So what happens is that some people in some company, the people who collect the data are not the one in the office handling the data. So once the data is collected at the office level, we check the submission. If it is approved, we now put approve on hold or not approved. Now let's come to the download part. This is very important. Let's leave it like this, the way it is labeled and XLS. So let's leave it to single and separate columns. The only thing you have to change is here, save selected. So we define how we want to save this project or this form. So here is the columns that you want. You are not forced to get all the columns. You can select that, okay, I only want this and this and this column. For now, let's get all the columns. We click on export. Now the data is export. If I click on download, look at what happens. It downloads the data set in Excel. Let me open it. Okay, let's enable editing. So let's make it a table here. Okay, and we stretch it. You go to the top left and you double click on any column. Now you can see every detail. So why are we not using this one? We are not using this one because it only contains the data that are actually in the database. But if there are new submission, you can't get. So for that, copy this link here. We paste it here. So delete everything till the dash. Okay, and write API/V2. It will take you to this API route. Okay, you select the first one. So you can press Ctrl F, or you can scroll and search for your data set. Or you can press Ctrl F. So now we are looking for our form with its data. So let's put data professional. Well, there are many data professionals files. Let's add the S. Well. Wow, so there are many. So we have to scroll and scroll and scroll. So what we can do, let's go back to the form and let's add some things like maybe 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's export again. Okay, now let's get back to our API tool. So let's refresh here. And now let's look for it again. Ctrl F, it comes back. Let's add the 1, 2, 3. Okay, it has come. So it has 3 links. The first link is called the API. We use it for the pipelines, as I said. The second one is SSV, and the last one is XLSX. You can use both SSV and XLSX. Now I just copied the XLSX. So you come to data. You come to get data from other sources, from web. And here you just paste the link you have copied. It can be both it can be either SSP or XLSS. Okay, so now our form is the HR form. As you can see, we have only 3 submissions. Here is actually the link we are using. Now the data is in our Excel, but it is connected to Kobo. I hope you get the difference between this one and the first one we just exported. Okay, everything is set. Let's go to File, Option, here, Advanced. I'm just trying to make sure that you have your Excel is well set make sure that this update links order is ticked. If it's not ticked, you won't be able to get the refresh data. Let's come to Trust Center here. Go to external content. Make sure you have enabled all data connection and you have ticked both boxes. Okay. So another thing you can check is okay, let's add some submission. You will see it later. Let's just put as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. So I'm just putting random data, please. In company, they usually have a convention for employee IDs, like maybe they can say the first letter of your name and maybe the last number. They have so let's just put anything. Let's submit. Maybe let's add some more, like maybe 2. Okay. So once again, don't focus on what I'm putting. You can put whatever you want. Okay. For this person, let's assume that he left because of job dissatisfaction. Okay, we have our 2 new submission. When we come here, it is always 3. You go to table, you will see it is 5, or you can refresh here and you will see the good number. There are 5 new submissions. There are 5 submissions. Let's go back to our, maybe let's approve them. So it does not matter if you approve or not, it does not affect the data set. This is just, Kobo added that column to help people. Now, when we go to Excel, before you refresh, when you want to refresh, you go to data, but before, let's make sure something is ticked. You go to this arrow, you go to connection. Make sure it is enable background refresh and refresh this connection. But now we don't want to directly refresh all. What we want to do is to wait about 1 to 2 minutes. Why? Because the data set does not directly comes to your Excel file unless you wait like a minute or 2. Why? It's free, my bro. It's free, so So at least 1 minute, it's okay. It's what they. Okay. So I think it's okay. Let's now go to data and let's click refresh all. Tada! Okay, our data is in the data set. Please subscribe to the channel to also encourage me. Thank you very much. So let's move on to our dashboard background. So over here, let's come to PowerPoint. Let's go to design and size. Let's make sure you are here 16:9. Please make sure you are here. So we can delete this by using our keyboard delete button. This one, you right click and you click on delete. Okay, everything is set. So let's go to insert and we insert our background. Let's go to picture here. Where have I kept it? Okay, so here I've downloaded a lot of many different background because I use them regularly. But this one is the human resources background. So I use it since the dashboard we are going to create is about human resources. So make sure that it fits the whole sheet like this. Okay, let's right click, we go to format picture. Let's go to picture. We want to reduce to increase the transparency to 30. Okay, so you can increase, you can give it the number you want, but for me 30 is okay. Let's now insert a shape. Let's get this rectangle shape like this. Okay, this is good. Now let's put it well so that it does not take too much space. When it is like this, one thing you can do to help you go to shape format. It is difficult to click there because there is this screen recording option that is there. Okay, let me come again. Okay, it has come. So you can go to align and you align it at the center. It is aligned at the center and horizontally as well. Okay, so we are good to go. It looks good, right? So now the next thing we want to do is actually to right click on outside of the sheet. You go to grid and guide. Let's add a horizontal grid. So now we are now shaping our dashboard. So the idea is that you should already have how you want your dashboard to look like in mind. So now I have an idea. So I know the first one, I will put the title of the dashboard. Inside here, I will put my KPIs. Let me add a last horizontal one. So now for the down part, I divide it into two because I want some chart to be at the top, some chart at the down, at the bottom. Okay. Let's right click and now let's add vertical guide. Okay. So to get it is sometimes difficult. Okay, let's drag it here. So I'm dragging it here at the top left because I want to put my slicer here on the left. That's why I'm dragging them there. Okay, let's right click and let's add another vertical guide. Sometimes to drag it is quite sorry, it's quite difficult. I have to seek permission from the president. Please, Mr. President, can you allow me to? Can you? Okay. That is very kind from the president. Okay, so let's okay, let me put it here. Okay, let's add another one. The last one. And we are going to put it here. So as you can see, there is a difference in space, and I put it purposely because I already know what chart I'm going to put in each free space. I know some charts require more space than other. That is why I'm leaving some spaces. Like this one, they are the same, but these two ones are quite large, and this one are small because I will put my slicer here. And over here, I will put the KPI. So I know what I'm doing. So it's very good for you to also know. Let's add a shape. Now, always this rectangle shape. We want it very small, like this. We want it to be in between the grid guide. Even if it's not well in between, it's fine. You just go. The most important is that you should stretch it till outside the dashboard. So let's come here to shape fill and we put it white. Okay, it looks good now. For now, you don't see what we are doing if this is your first time to create a background of a dashboard, but it will look good, don't worry. Okay, let's increase it a little bit. Okay, this one is fine. Let's put it in between the line. Okay, let's copy it, Ctrl C to copy, Ctrl V to paste. Look at what I'm doing. I'm putting them in between the lines. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Okay, so you press Shift and you turn it like this. It will help you to, okay. If you don't long press the Shift button, it can be difficult to put it straight like that. So Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Don't worry if it is long. It doesn't matter. The most important is actually the background. Okay, It looks good. So now what we want the first one to contain the title of the dashboard. So I will put it down like this because I want the top to be free, because I will write here, I will put some slicer and the background and the title of the dashboard. So let me reduce it. The most important when you reduce it, that it should not exceed the line. You get the point? It should be free like this. So this second one, I want to put my KPI. So let me drag it down again. I want the KPIs to be there, the key performance indicators of the dashboard. So I will put it down here. I will drag it. Please, you take your time if this is your first time to do that, please. Okay, so I will copy this. Let me reduce. So what I want is to put a line here, because my KPIs will be divided into two. So I want to put something that will divide them. Like, let me put here, one KPI will be very long and the other one will be short. So not that short, but medium. Okay, it looks good. So here I want to put my slicers. So I don't want anything to, okay, let me remove it. I want it to be free to receive the slicer. Over here, I want the down part to be free, because I will put two charts together that are related. And when the charts are related, closely related, we don't want to put any bar to separate them. That's why I'm leaving the downside empty. Okay, this is exactly how I want my background to look like. Okay, so the next thing you have to do, you select everything, every shape, and you long press Control. So okay, you select all these shape you have added, including that big blue shape. Please make sure to select everything, please. It can be confusing or tricky. So what we do is we go to shape format, we go to merge shapes, and we click on subtract. Have you seen what happened? It has subtracted the bar chart, the white one. Now we can see our background a little bit, which look good. Now let's remove these grid guides. You right click and you click on delete. It's quite okay. Well, okay, you see how it looks better, right? So now let's make it look far better. Let's right click, we go to format shape. Let's come here to fill. We want as a gradient fill. Gradient fill is so amazing. So the gradient fill always comes with the top left and right and two at the middle. You can click on each of them, you delete here, or you click the delete button from your keyboard. So let's start with the top left, our top left. Let's go to the color. So the color, I already have something in mind, 2328 2D. Okay, so 2328 2D. So this is how it looks like. So the transparency, let's put it at 5 to be a little bit transparent so that we can see how beautiful our background image is. Let's now go to the top right one. Let's come to more color. What you want to put is the same thing, 2328 2D. I will show you where the difference will be, but for now let's click OK. So make sure you are still there at the top right. So now bring this arrow a little bit up. The more you go up, the more it becomes light. Okay, you see it looks good. Let's put the transparency at 10. Yeah, okay. So for the angle, you see there are some places where it is very dark, so it depends on the angle. If I put 0, you see the dark one goes to the left. If I put 180, it goes to the right. So you can play around it, but me, what I want is 0, like it should start from the left to the right. Okay, you see it looks better, right? Wow. So this is how we design background. So to save it, you come to File. Let me show you how to save it. So please, to encourage me, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. So let's call this HR analytic dashboard background. Okay, so how do we save it? Let me first put the name background. So you come here to the right arrow, you go and save it to JPEG file. Okay, like this. Please do that. You can click on save all or just this one, but it is only one chat, so it is only this one. Thank you. Now we can create a new PowerPoint. So what we want now is something that we are going to use in our dashboard, which is the stars that represent the satisfaction, the job satisfaction. Let's drop our first star here. Let's copy it, Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V to have up to 5. Why 5? Remember that when we created the form, we said that the job satisfaction should have 5 values, 1, 2, 3, and 5. That is why they are 5 stars. So let's go to shape format. Let's align it at the center, and at the middle, and horizontally. Okay. So you see it looks good, but it is too joined. So let's separate them a little. Okay. Okay. Thing is, it looks good. So now let's add a shape, our square shape here, rectangle shape. So don't put it too high, just make it just fine like this. Okay, let's reduce it. Okay, so now we can't see the stars again. So you right click, you go to format shape. No, it's not format shape, sorry. We want to send it behind. So you right click, you go to send to back. Now we can see our stars again. Okay, so now here what we can do, you select everything including the rectangle shape, everything. You go to shape format. We also want to subtract the background. Go to merge shapes and subtract. Okay, it looks very good. So what we will do is that we will copy this and we will come and paste it in our dashboard like this to get our job satisfaction. So this is just to show you. So I will also put this in the description. Okay, so let's save this. Okay, let's save it. Please subscribe to the channel, bro or sister. Okay. So now, as you can see, I've already added up to 54 submissions to our data set. Okay, if we come to our Excel again, we click on refresh all. Boom, the database is now refreshed. So we can see the exact number of submission. Everything seems to be good. So what we want is to now get the year of joining. So we are going to extract it from the column date of joining. So we just want the year. Is it 2024, 2025? So what formula do we use? Equals to text, and then we put our column for the date of joining. Here you can just select like this, or you can see it is K2. Okay, so we put the quote and 4Y. Okay, we close the parenthesis and the formula is ready. Let's press enter, and now we have extracted the year from the date of joining. Now we want the attrition tenure. What does it mean? We have the date of joining and we have the date of leaving. We want to know how many months is it in between each date. So we are going to get the formula for that. Let's write our if and. Okay, so we have our date of joining, which is K2 and is less or equal to, so we put again our date of leaving as well, which is M2. We put our less or equal to, we put the quotes. Okay, so right now we just put dated if, which is a very good it's something that I use all the time. Now let's put our K2, which is date of join, and M2, which is the date of leaving. Let's add M. Why M? It's M because we want it in terms of month. Okay, so we give us the number of month in between each date. Sorry, I forgot the equal to. Okay, so we can just click on enter and we are good to go. So for instance, let's take the first one. So the date of joining is this, the February 28, 2024, and then it gives 10 months. Okay, so now let's get the age. We have the date of birth, we just want the age. So let's put our dated if, a function I like. Okay, so let's go and get our date of birth. Which column is that? Okay, it is F2. Okay, so for the date of birth, we want it to be the difference between today. So when you put this today, what is going to happen is that we are in January 2025. So it's going to check that date of birth and compare it to today's date. And we have our result. So no matter when we are going to use this dashboard, it will still be up to date because we use the to date function. Okay, so we are good to go for our calculated columns. So the next thing we want to do is to create a pivot table. We go to insert and we create a new worksheet in a pivot table here. So the first thing we want is the employee ID. So you drag it and drop it on the value. So we have the employee ID. But remember that there are some employees who left the company. So we put the employee status in the filter. And we filter only when the employee status is currently working. So now we get our active workers or active employee. Let's copy the whole pivot table and paste it here. And then we want only when the employee left. Now we have both the active and the attrition, those who left. Okay, so let's also copy and paste this from this pivot table here. So we want the age, not the sum of age. We want the average age. Okay, what is the average age of the employees? Okay, we got our average age. Let's copy and paste the pivot table again. Now we want the average attrition tenure. You click here and then you go to average. Okay, now we have our average attrition tenure and the average age. So what we are going to do next is we are going to name each pivot table. You click on the pivot table, you go to pivot table analysis and you name it. Let's name it KPI 1. Here we name it KPI 2. Why are we naming it? Why are we naming them? Because we are going to create slicer that will help us to move, to filter the dashboard. And we want those slicers to be connected to these KPIs. But there are some pivot tables that we don't want to connect them with the slicer. That is why we name them, so that when we work on the connection, we can know which pivot table we use with which. So what am I doing right now? So we can't actually use the data from the pivot table because it's going to break the dashboard at a point because it is very limited when it comes to KPIs. So for the chart, yes, we use the pivot table, the data from the pivot table, but for the KPIs, the key performance indicators, no. So let's reduce this. We don't want the decimal. Okay. So and it is simple. You just put equals to and then you copy this. You select the cell. So this is just equal to. Well, so for this attrition tenure, we want the month, we want the value, but we want the value to end with month at the end. So I'm going to write it. So equals to this. Okay. Okay, so let's reduce the decimal to 0. Okay, we don't want decimals. Okay, I will get back to that one. So here, I think we are good to go. No, here for the attrition, we want, this is the number. Now let's get the percentage. 13, what percentage is it? It is simple, it's just the attrition divided by the total workers, which is attrition plus active. So we got our percentage. Let's go to home and we get it well in a good percentage. So we can say that the attrition rate is 24%. But how do we want it in our dashboard? We want the KPI to be both the percentage and the attrition number. So we are going to put a function to get those two values in one cell. So we want to be equal to, we want to start with the attrition, which is D7. When to show that it is the exact cell, we will see how it is highlighted. And we put in quote. So look at this bar. This bar is going to be like, it will show the difference between the attrition and the percentage. So I think we should always start with this. Okay, now we have E7. Okay, so in one cell we have both values now. So but look at how this one is. It's quite the decimal is not actually well spelled. So let's put it text. We select here. Okay, E7. Okay, so we add the 0% because we want it to be in percentage. You get the point. So that's why we added percentage. Okay, so for this average attrition tenure, we also want to add the month at the end of the value. So let's I can't remember well how we do it. I think it was, okay, let's get K4, which is our attrition tenure from the KPI. So let's add month. Okay. Yeah, the month has come, but we can't actually go to home and actually remove. So let's try with our pivot table. Let's remove the decimal. Okay, but it's not changing here. Because okay, so let me try this. Equal to month. Wow, the decimal is not going, and well, we handle that later. Oh. Honestly, I can't remember. Okay, I will get back to it. So now let's go to the dashboard. Let's name this sheet dashboard. Okay. So the first thing we do, you select anywhere, you go to view, you go to grid lines, and you untick it. Let's control everything with Control A. We come here, we want the color to be like this gray. Okay, it looks good. So the next thing we want to do is to bring our background. So let's go and get it. Okay, this is the background. We just select it here. So let's drag it well. We can long press shift and then we drag it. Okay, we can remove the finger from shift. So let's just drag it well. So the idea is, in my opinion, is not very good when we have to scroll to see some values in our dashboard. So I think it's very good when every information can be seen at a glance in a dashboard. So we don't want users to scroll to view anything. I think this is good. Okay. So now let's go in, insert our text box. Please never write in the cell. Always write in a text box, please. Okay. So it is ready. So we are going to bring our KPIs. After you have selected, you put equals to. You come here. We take this one. Please don't take the one in the pivot table. Take the one we have created a little bit close to that pivot table. So let's now increase the size. Okay. Let's increase it to maybe 24. I think it's okay. Okay, and let's bold it. So let's enter everything. Let's enter everything. Now we right click, we go to format. We want no field and no line. Okay, no field, no line. Okay, so now we can actually give it a white color. Yeah, it is very good. Okay, so let's copy and paste it. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So the next one, let's remove what is inside like this here. So and let's name it active employees. So now this is going to be the title. So let's Ctrl A, we select everything, we reduce the size a little bit. Okay, let's put the color to this. Maybe let's use this one. Okay. Oh, sorry. If you drag the background maybe unpurposely, you can get back to your action with Ctrl Z. Okay. So let's increase this a little bit to maybe 32, 36. Okay. Now we have our first KPI, key performance indicator. What is the total active employees? We can answer that one. Let's copy and paste Ctrl C, Ctrl V several times. We get the 4 others KPIs. Okay, don't care about the way it is aligned. So you long press Ctrl, you select both or everything, you go to shape. You want to align it at the middle and also horizontally. Okay. Okay. Now let's rename it. This one is going to be the attrition rate. Oh no, let me call it. Let's put the average age over here. The average age, and here we put our attrition rate and our attrition tenure. Once again, the attrition tenure is just the time that the people who left the company, how much time did they spend in the company. So let's copy and paste it. The only thing you have to do, you come here, you delete this value. We now put this value equals to this. You get the point? Okay, let's Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Sorry. So you just select it, you're going to remove its value, and you put the equal to, this is the attrition rate, it's equal to this. Okay, and you press enter. Let's copy and paste it again. We want our attrition tenure. Let's copy its value and we get the proper value. Okay, So now to bring all this formatting, you come here to format, you double click here, and then you just click once, and you press escape to stop that. So what happens is that all the changes that you made to the first one, when you go and paste, you share what you have done to the other ones. So let's control everything. You long press Ctrl. Let's go to shape format. You want to align it at the middle and horizontally. Okay, it looks good. Okay, so now let's copy this and we go and put the title of our dashboard. So we are going to call this dashboard HR Analytics Dashboard. Okay, so let's highlight everything. We go and increase the size to maybe 40. I think it's okay like this. Okay, so let's put it well. So normally you should add the company's logo or company's brand close to the title of the dashboard, but since this project is just for the sake of this project, so that's why I did not bring any logo. So let's bring a slicer. So you click in a pivot table and then you go to insert, we insert a slicer. So now let's right click and we go to report connection. Now we are connecting all the KPIs to this particular slicer. So now if I click on female, all the values will change because this slicer is connected to all those KPIs. So let's copy this, Ctrl C, you come here, Ctrl V. Okay, you see when I click, I select a gender, the data automatically also change. Okay, the next thing we want is to copy this, we paste here, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Here we want the job satisfaction. So let's go to value. We want it as an average. What is the average job satisfaction? It is 3. So let's remember the values. The job satisfaction is having 5 values from 1 to 5. So the average is 3. Okay. So let's call it again, job satisfaction equals to this. Why are we doing that? Remember, we don't want to use values from the pivot table unless when we create our charts. For the KPI, the key performance indicator, we always create it like this. So let's reduce the decimal to, let's increase it to 1. Okay, let's have only 1 decimal value. Now, what is the rate? Let's get our job satisfaction as the rate. And what is remaining? What is remaining is just 5 minus our rate. Why 5? Because the job satisfaction, it is up to 5. So 5 minus this equal to this. You can also say minus the rate. It is the same thing since it is the same value. 5 minus the rate here. It is the same. Okay, so now let's get the percentage. So to get the percentage, it is simple. It is just our rate divided by 5. Why 5? Because the job satisfaction question is having 5 values. Okay, so we drag it down, we get, let's go and insert a donut chart for both. Make sure that both percentages are selected. Okay, now it is selected. Let's see, let's also bring this bar chart. Okay, it has removed our donut chart. Let's click elsewhere, we select everything again. we insert our donut chart again. We need both charts. Okay, let's remove the title. You just select it and then you delete with your keyboard. What do we want? Let's remove the axis from this one, the grid line, everything. You right click on it. Let's go to select data. Let's switch rows and columns. You click here and we click on OK. So let's bring back our axis. You see the axis is there, but it stopped at 1, but there's another value that adds. So let's right click and we go to format axis. You just make it stop exactly where the chart is stopping. So it is stopping at 1. So let's put it like this. So yours might be different. Just put the exact value where the chart ends. So let's delete this axis again. Okay. So it looks good. So to make it look better, let's right click on it. Let's go to format data and we put it at 0. Okay, it looks good now. So let's right click and go to report selection. We want this slicer to have this pivot table. But you see it is pivot table. Let's rename this pivot table. Let's call it job satisfaction. So that when we connect it to our slicer, we know exactly what we are connecting. Okay, it's fine. Okay, so the next thing is actually we want to bring the stars that we created in PowerPoint. So let's go to our PowerPoint. Okay. Okay, so let's open it and we copy our stars. Let's copy this and we paste it here. Okay. So I put 5 stars. You know why? Because the job satisfaction are having 5 stars, not 5 stars. I'm sorry if I speak like this. English is not my first language, so French is my first language. So sorry if I make some mistake here and there. Okay, let's bring this. It's going to be the main chart. Okay, let's make it fit to the space we have allocated for it. Okay, let's right click. We go to format chart. Let's put no line and no fill. Okay, now there is no line. Let's click on one color. You remove the line. You click on the other one, you remove the line. The lines are those white lines on it. So let's click on select the first one and give it this color. So let's double click also this one as well. To know that it is that one you have selected, you will see the color. So let's give it the white color or this gray. I think this gray is okay. So now we want to put it. You can see it is going behind. So what we want is to actually bring it in front. So let's right click and we bring it to front. Okay. Okay. So this part might be quite time consuming, especially if this is your first time, because it has to match perfectly, but not perfectly, but it has to match as much as possible. Okay, let's right click, we go to our format shape. Let's remove the line. Okay, and for this one we want okay, let's come here and put the same color we use for the background, which is 2328 2D. You remember what we use for the dashboard? Yeah, there is it. So now you can see the color is matching. Okay, let's put it on. Okay, so the color is now matching. So let's close this. Let's right click here. We go to the color again. Let's put it a little bit lighter. Okay, I think it matches well. So the idea is that people should not see that it is like it's a rectangle. Okay, but it is still visible. Well, okay. Let's now bring our donut chart. Ctrl C, Ctrl V to copy and paste. So let's drop it just close to these stars. Let's increase it well. Okay. Let's put it like quite close. So you can right click, you go to format chart area. So we want no field, no line. Now you click on the donut. You see those white lines. We don't want them, no light. So you can double click on one color. Like I want to double click on the blue color. You see the blue color has come. I want it to be a gradient. So let's remove these two ones. You can, okay, we just want the edge one, the edge ones. So the top left one, let's give it a color. So we can give it, let's just select a normal color. So you see, we select this one. So let's go to the top right one. Let's select the same color but lighter. Okay, it is better. Now for the one that are not having value, the orange, let's put it gray so that people can see that it is like what is remaining. Let's put this gray rather. Okay, now let's come back to it again. Let's increase it, the circle, to 65. Okay, it looks better, I think. Now we can so I think it's not that dark. Let's go back to the gradient line. Let's go to the second one. Let's make it darker like this. Yes. Okay, I think now it looks very good. So let's copy this and paste it here. So let's remove the value and we come here. Wait, I'm sorry. So let's delete this. We can press escape. So let's put it well as percentage. You highlight everything, you go to home and percentage. Okay, so now let's get back and get the percentage. We remove the value here, we put equal to, we go and select our percentage. Okay, so to get the same format, let's just click one. So you just click here, you don't need to press escape because you click only one. So let's reduce this size and let's reduce to maybe 24 or 20. Okay, let's put it as big. Let's remove to, let's put it at 80. Okay, you see it looks good right now, right? So now let's give the title. Let's call it job satisfaction for people to know what exactly this chat is about. Okay, how do you find it, man? How do you find it? I think the dashboard starts looking good when you add the filter. When you select anything, I think everything is fine. Okay, so now we can insert a slicer which is going to be for the year of joining. So remember the calculated column we have created for the year of joining. So we bring it as a slicer so that the client or the manager can just filter by the year of joining, like maybe in 2017 or 25, how many new people. So let's right click, we go to setting, slicer setting, and we remove the header. So you see the columns are 1, so they are all like one column, right? So we want it to be different columns, so let's add the number of columns. Let's add these 2 ones. So you see these 2 ones are not like well highlighted. It is because they are part of the range of the data. Like we have 2017, and we have 2015, but not 2016. So Excel automatically put 2016, but it does not put a value in it, of course. So let's shift this one. Normally, if you want to add the logo or the brand of the company, you put it at the top left. So let's right click and we go to report. We want to connect all these KPIs to the slicer. Okay. Now, when I select the year, you can easily see the values in that particular year. So you see, when there are some years that there is no value, so it looks quite strange, but we fix that, don't worry. 2026 and 2022, we will go and put values there since they are already here. So when you select something like this with this kind of slicer and you want to unselect, you press Ctrl and you select where you have selected. So if you selected 2024 and you don't want to select the year again, you press Ctrl and you select it. You will unselect everything. So now let's come back here. Let's get it well. So let's put a space before we put the month. Okay, this space is very important. Okay, you see it has removed the percentage, the decimals. Okay, here we cannot remove it like that. So what we are going to do, we are going to add our round. Round means that if the value is maybe 2.9, it will round it to 3. Okay, and then we put our 0, meaning that if there is no value, it should be 0. Okay, now we get our good number. When we go to the dashboard now, if I press okay, look at what happened. When I press a year, when I select a year that there is no value, it acts very strange. So let's add our if error, so that if there is an error, it should rather put 0. If error, let's go at the end, we put our comma, quote, let's close that quote, and then 0. Okay, so now if there is no value in the selected year, you, instead of putting that thing, you will put 0. Let's drag it well to see the month. You see now, when I select 2025, the value becomes 0 because of the if error. So let's reduce these two KPIs. Okay, now it looks good. Everything looks good, in my opinion. So we can right click, we can select the slicer, but let's create our new slicer the way we want it. Let's go to whole slicer. We want the name to be bold, and the color, we want it to be what color can we take? Maybe let's take this blue. Okay, so have you seen on the right how the color is the color of the slicer is blue? So now for the header, how do we want the header? We want the header of the slicer to be bold and the color should be white. Okay, now for the selected item, now when you select an item, so how do you want it to look like? So we want it to have two different colors, this deep green and this light green. So the black should be vertical. Okay, now for the selected item with no value, how do we want it? Let's give it like a gray color. First, we also want it to be bold. Okay, let's come and give this particular gray. It's okay, let's give this light gray and we put it vertical. You can leave it horizontal, it's up to you. So now for the unselected items, how do we want them to show? So we just want the color to be black here and gray here for the unselected items. I think we are good to go for our slicer. So let's give it a name. Let's call it Data Professionals as the name of the channel. Okay. So now we have selected the slicer. We go to slicer and we are going to select that particular slicer. You see, it looks the way we want, right? I mean, not the way we want, the way I want. Okay. So let's insert another slicer. We go to insert, go to slicer. Let's now get the department. Okay. So now let's make it look quite small because the space we provided for it. Let's copy it and paste it here. Okay, it fits well. Okay. So we just want it to look good. So let's also assign our created slicer to it. You see how it looks quite better than the white. I mean, according to our background. Okay, let's add another. Let's go to insert. We add another slicer. Now for the qualification. Okay. Let's copy this and paste it here. Okay. So let's also assign our created slicer to it. Okay. So now if we select, let's right click and go to report connection. Let's include all the KPIs to these slicers. Okay, same for the qualification slicer. Let's go to report connection and we include all the KPIs. So now if I select master, we can see the value. Whatever I select, you see the values. Okay. So now you see the date 2016 and 2022. So it is empty. So let's go to our form and we add the year 2026 and 2022. 2016 and 2022. So if you got the data from the Excel dataset, I'm sure yours is already fine. But for ours, since we are live, so we are forced to go and input. So I'm going to bring 4 new submissions, 2 for 2016 and 2 for 2022. Okay, sorry if it is taking some time for those who have just gotten the link directly or those who have downloaded the Excel file. Okay, I'm almost done. 1 second, please. Okay, now when we go to Kobo, the data set is automatically inserted. But when we come to our Excel file, once again, please wait for about a minute or 2. Why? Because, of course, Kobo is a cloud, but it takes some small time to actually bring your data to your dashboard. So let's now go to data and we refresh all. Our 4 submissions should be there. Okay, they are here. These are the first submission I made. I put the date of joining 2016 and 2022. Okay, they are here. Now, if we go back to our KPIs, we click on one KPI, one value in a KPI. You right click and you click on refresh, and everything is refreshed. Look at, okay, now it is, well, it is okay now. Okay, everything is fine now. Let's save it just in case. What else? Okay, let me copy this pivot table and paste it here. So instead of the average, let's remove the average. Let's bring our age. So we want it as average. Okay, age by department. No, let's bring the age. Let's rather bring the how can we go about it? No, let's rather drop the age on the rows. Okay, yeah, the age are on the rows. Let's take the age again and we drop it as the values. So we want the sum or the count. I think the sum is fine. Let's check the count, how it looks like. No, it's not the count, it's the sum. Okay, so now we have our age. People are in between 16 to 54. So the sum of age is like how many employees are in between. So let's select our age, the one on the rows here. We right click, we go to group. We want to group that age. Okay, the minimum age is what? Is 16. Okay, and the maximum age is 54. So now, how do you want to group it? By 10 or what? Let's group it by 5 years. So you see from 16 to 20, from 21 to 25, and so on and so forth. So we can now go to our chart and let's bring this particular column chart. Let's remove the title. You right click and we hide everything here. Okay, let's remove the legend. So let's also remove all those lines. For the grid line, you can come on the plus here and you untick the grid lines. Okay, we will add now the label. Let's add the label. So as you can see, it is actually the numbers, but companies, for things like age, we usually talk in terms of percentage. What is the percentage? So let's get back here in the value. Let's go to show value as. Come here to no calculation. You select percentage of parent rows total. It will give us the percentage. Okay, we have our percentage. Let's select everything and we remove the decimal. We go to home. Let's remove the decimals to 0. Okay, now when we go back to our chart, if we bring the legend, it's now in percentage. Let's select here. We increase the size and we bold it. Okay, it looks good. Yeah, it looks good. No, we don't want the. Sorry, you delete it with your keyboard. So this one, let's bold this one as well. Okay. Okay, let's copy this and let's use shift a little please. Let's paste it here. So this is why when we created the background, I wanted this space to be quite large, because I know that this age range chart are usually quite long. So because the age is not plenty, sometimes it goes up to 80, 90 years. So let's right click, we go to format, no field, no line. Okay, let's click on the chart. We don't want any line. Now we want it to be gradient fill. So automatically the gradient fill we use for the job satisfaction is assigned to this one as well. So let's bring the label to, let's put the white color for our label. I think it looks good to me. Okay, so let's copy it and give it a name. So we will call it employee by age range. Let's call it by age range. Okay. Okay. So let's highlight everything and we put it on the left. Okay, now it looks good, right? So yeah, remember that for the status of the employee, it should be actually currently working. So let's put the status on the filter, and we unfilter left the company. We only want for those who are currently working. Look how it has changed. It has changed everything. Okay, so let's come here and we give it like a gray color. Okay, let's reduce. Okay, so let's go to pivot table and rename this pivot table. Let's give it a name like age range. Okay, let's now make sure that the age range is also part of all the slicers. Same here, you right click, we go to report. Okay, the age range is ticked for everyone. So now if I select any department, we can see the age range in, or if I select a qualification, we can see the age range. Okay, or same for the year. Okay, let's save this. Sorry, let's copy this pivot table and let's paste it down. So now what we want, let's remove the age. What we want now, we want the okay, let's start with the marital status. So we put the marital status in the rows and in the value. Make sure in the value it should be the count. Okay, so the filter is there for only the employees that are working. So let's create a chart from it. Let's go to let's give this pie chart. So now let's remove the title. Let's hide all those things. Okay, the legend we can remove. So you click on the pen, you will see the various pipe that exist. Me, I like this one in particular because it's like there's pizza inside or something like that. I like it. So we want to add our label, but you see here that it is actually the value. So 7 people are divorced and stuff. So we want the percentage. So we do the same thing. You come here, make sure to select percentage of parents row label. So we get our percentage. Let's go and remove the decimal. Okay, now we can add our label. So since it's not coming, let's go to more options. We tick the percentage value. You see how it has come. Okay, okay, I think it's okay for me. So let's select this one and we increase the size, the labels. Okay, let's copy this and we paste it. You shift a little again. Let's paste it here. Okay, maybe let's put it here at the top right. So let's right click, we go to format chart, no field, no line as usual. But as we do so, you can see that we can't see the label very well again. So we need to do something for that. Well, let's go back. Let's select them again. Let's right click and we go to format data label. Okay. Let's go and put like a square on the each value. Okay, let's take the solid fill so that we can have some like the squares on the value. Let's give it like the white color. Okay, now I think we can see the values very well now. I mean, more better than the previous one. Let's expand it, this one a little. Now if I select a department, you can see the marital status of employees in that department. Okay, same for the qualification. Okay, so let's drag it down and let's bring our title. So we are going to call it employee by marital status. Okay, so let's get our next chart. Okay, let's copy this pivot table and we paste it here. Okay, so let's go to pivot table. Let's go to list, field list. In case this field list, maybe we have closed it or it disappeared, you just go to pivot table and field list. So now what we want here is the department, and we want to count the number of employees in each department. So make sure the employee ID is as count. Okay, so let's select our recommended chart. Yeah, so for this one we can go for the bar chart. Let's select this 3D bar chart. Okay, so let's right click and we hide all here. So let's delete this title and this legend. So let's come here to here. You can select the type of chart you want. So I like this one because of the way it looks 3D. I like it. So let's add our data label. For this particular data label, I think I want the numbers. Let's bold it. Why? Because from my little experience, for the employees in terms of department, we usually want to know the number, not the percentage. Like for the sales department, how many employers do we have? How many employees? What? How many employees do we have? Okay, so let's bring it here. So let's resize it. And we do our routine, which is to right click. You go to format plot, no field. No, I think I did not select it well. Sorry, right click there well. So no field, no line. Okay. So for the color, let's remove these grid lines. So let's bold this and okay. So for this one, let's put it in white. Okay. Okay, so let's right click and we go to format data label. Okay, and here I think there's nothing to change here, so let's come here. We want the gradient field. Automatically it assigns the same one, but for this one we don't want the same, so let's select the first one on the left. We put what can we put? Let's just select anything here like this. Okay, for this one, okay, let's come back to it. Let's copy the format. Okay, let's copy that, Ctrl C. Let's come for the one on the right, let's paste it here and we click on OK. Let's go back there, the one on the right, and we push the arrow at the top a little bit for it to be a little light. I think here is fine. Okay, so our gradient grade line is I think, in my opinion, good. So let's bring the title. We are going to call it employees by department. Okay, let's save this. So you see that when we filter the dashboard, everything is completely dynamic. Okay, so let's go to this sheet number 2. Let's copy this pivot table and let's paste it under. So the idea with pivot table, please be mindful that if the data is going to grow, don't paste it under, just close, else both pivot table will touch each other and then it will crash your dashboard. They will just call you that your dashboard is not working again. I tried to refresh, it's not refreshing, so please be mindful of that. So let's get our agenda. Why is it only male? Maybe we have put in a slicer. Okay, it was male. Wow, look at how things are different now. I forgot that I selected only male. The employee by range is quite messed up, so let's come to the source pivot table here. Okay, so let's highlight everything. We're going to remove the percentage, the decimal to 0. Okay, and then you see it brought the value 16 less than 16 years old, 0%. This less than 16 years old, 0% is because there was one employee who was 16 but the person left, so it is putting 0%. So let's right click on this one. I think everything is fine there. So let's get for the employee by marital status. So you can see that the color is quite different. So what we want to do is let's go to anyway, we handle that later. But the first thing is, let's go back to our slicer. You can see it doesn't perfectly match with the background. So let's go to slicer. Let's right click here and we modify it. Let's go to whole slicer. Okay, so let's rather take maybe this gray color for it to match best the dashboard. Okay, yeah, I think it's better now. It's better. So maybe you might right click on the slicer, you click on modify, but nothing comes. It might happen. For that, I don't know why sometimes Excel does that, or I don't know if it is Excel or it is the computer. Okay, so let's remove all this. Now the next chart we want is actually the gender. Okay, so let's put the employee ID as count. So per gender, we see the total employee ID. So once again, let's bring it out. Like it's going to be used as KPI. So since it will be used as KPI, let's get the value out of the pivot table. So now what we want now is let's copy this gender slicer and we bring it here. You see, when you select one, the other one becomes like it bugs, right? So for that, let's go on the pivot on the formula. We just write our if error before, and then we add our comma 0. So what happens? Let's also do the same thing here. Every time you add if error, this formula is when the condition you have put is not met. What happens? The result should be 0. Okay, so now when I select one gender, the other one shows 0, which is good. So the females is equal to that and the other is equal to this. So I'm putting others because I want you to understand that the other can be not only one column but other columns. That's why I'm putting it. So to get the percentage, we want to get the female divided by the total number of workers, which is female plus others. So now let's include the $sign in between each letter so that we can easily drag the formula down. Okay, so let's just drag it. Okay, so now once both are selected, so we go to insert and let's go to home and we make it percentage. Okay, let's insert a donut chart. Let's delete the title and the legend. Okay, so the donut chart for our female gender is ready. Let's also get the same thing for the male. Equals to the male is the male and the other. So the male is just simply equal to this here. So remember not to take from the pivot table. Take it from this one. Or you can even take from the pivot table. Here it does not matter actually. Okay. So let's get the percentage. So the percentage once more is just the equals to the male, the number of male divided by the total number of employer. So the number of male divided by into bracket number of male plus number of female. Okay, so we add this dollar symbol in between each letter to simply drag the formula. Okay, so now let's also go and make it a nice percentage, and we add our donut chart. Okay, so if we select by gender now, we can see how it is working well. So let's copy this. Let's remember that we are copying for the female. Okay, so as usual, we want to go on format. We want no line, no fill. We click on the donut chart, we remove the line. Okay, so let's put it 65 as usual. Okay, so everything is set. So let's change the color. So to get the color, we double click Okay. Let's first double click the orange. To know that you have successfully double clicked, you will see the same color here. So let's put our same gray that we have been putting in other donut charts. So for the blue one, let's double click and then let's put it a gradient fill again. So you see it automatically brings the gradient fill we use for the employees by department. So we can still use it, it's fine. So let's also copy the donut chart for the male. Let's remember that this one is male and that other one is female, else we might confuse them and it can lead to okay. So let's right click, no fill, no line as usual. So you click on the chart, you see that white line, we don't want it, so no line. And then we put it at 65, the size. Okay. So for the orange color, once again, you double click, you come here. So let's give our gray. And the blue color, we also give our gradient fill. We just click on gradient fill, it will come automatically. Okay, we are good to go. Well, now let's bring the name so that we don't confuse. Let's put this one female because it was female. Okay, let's copy and paste, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and let's call this one male. Okay, so now we want the percentage. Let's copy this. Let's bring it here. So let's go and delete the value of this KPI and we put the percentage of female. Okay, this is the percentage of female. We select it. Let's copy and paste it and we also get the percentage for male equals to percentage of male. Okay, so so you can just click on that one. We double click the format painting, we click 1 and we press escape to stop that. So this way it is easier not to do the same thing over and over again. So let's reduce the size. I think it's okay. Okay. So if you are still watching this video, I really want to congratulate you because it is not easy. I myself am getting tired and I just imagine you. So I really encourage you in whatever you are doing. And if you need help, please do not hesitate, just let me know. I'll be glad to answer. So let's bring our image for male and female. I will also put it in the description. So I just downloaded it simply. So I will put the link where I download all these icons in the description as well. So let's put the icon for the female. I want to turn it, so I just push it on the right and then it will turn the image. And then let's reduce a little bit. Okay. Okay, it's fine. Now we want to put our slicer for the gender. So let's reduce it well, the size, so that it does not take too much space. Okay. So, okay, so let's copy it and drop it here. Okay, so let's go and assign our slicer we created to this slicer. Okay, so now if we try to use, Let's reduce the title of each chart. It seems too like it takes too much space. Let's reduce them to 14. So you just click once here. Make sure that you are not inside. Okay, let's reduce. Let's copy this and put here the title. We are going to call it employees by gender. Simple. Okay, so everything looks good, it is left with only 2 charts to complete our dashboard. Okay, I'm just testing everything. I think everything seems to be okay, so let me save. And so the next thing we want to do is to actually get the chart for the attrition. So let's paste this pivot table here. Let's remove the gender. So what we want is actually the reason for leaving. So let's put it in the rows. So now let's put the employee ID here. So let's go back to the status, the employee status, and we make sure that it is only for those who left the company. So let's untick currently working. Let's put left the company. So now this employee by reason for leaving are now based on only those who left. So look at what I'm doing. I want to create quite complicated chart. So for that, I have to create another table. I cannot use the same table. Okay, so I want to use this tree map. Okay, to get that, you have to create another table, not using the pivot table. So let's remove everything, the title and everything. Okay, so we want this in percentage. Let's also go there. Let's go, we get the percentage, show value as, and we want percentage of parents row total. Okay, so let's remove the decimals. Okay, so now let's do the same here. Let's put it as percentage, good percentage. Okay, so now when we go and get our label, the label will come as percentage. Let's go to more data label options. Let's click on value. Since we have already put the value as percentage, it has come. So this is the category name and the value. So let's click on that value. We go and we bold it and we increase the size. Okay, I think we can bring it to our dashboard now. Okay, so for this size, okay, you see it has a comma. Let's make the category name and the value to be separated by a new line, not a comma. Okay, so now let's copy this and let's bring it to our dashboard. Okay, we are almost done. Please don't get discouraged, just complete the project. So I want all the values, the category name to be seen. That is why I'm trying to resize it well. I want everything to be seen at a glance. Okay, if we now select by gender, you can see how the reason for churning varies. So let's bring our title. Let's call it what can we call it? Okay, let's call it attrition by reason. Okay, let's right click, we go to format, no fill, no line. As usual, you know this song. Okay. um let's have another chart. We are going to bring a funnel chart. Before, let's right click here. Let's right click. Let's bring the funnel chart, we'll do it later. So let's copy this pivot table. Let's paste it here. So I'm pasting it quite far because I know the reason might increase. That's why I'm pasting it far, so that by the time it reaches that other pivot table, maybe 10-20 years has have passed by. Okay. Okay. So let's go and reduce the decimal. Let's put it at 0. So this is now the churn. Let's remember that the filter is saying that it is only for employees who churn, who left the company. So once again, for this funnel chart, we need to create a separate table, not from the pivot table. Okay, now let's select everything. We go to insert, we go to recommended. This is our funnel chart. Okay. Let's sort it by smallest to largest. Okay, we don't want any label. So here on the pen here, you can see the various type of funnel chart you can get. So now it's up to you to get the one that best suit your expectation. What can I choose? Maybe this one. I want to go for this last one, but let me take the black one. The fact that the background is black, I think. Okay, let's delete. Now we are good to go, but I'm not that satisfied with this chart, honestly. Let me change. Let me bring another one, like this simple one or the last one. Okay, let's take our cake our cake chart. Okay, so let's add the label. Okay, let's copy this and let's bring it. Let's use it. Okay, let's bold this. Okay, let's increase the size to maybe 9. Okay, 9 is okay. So for the color, we always put the gray, the same gray that we have been using. And here for the color of the label, let's bold it as well, but it will turn to black, so let's put it back to white. Okay, so of course we right click, we go to format chart. We don't want no fill, no line. Okay, as usual. So it looks good. I think so let's click on the chart. Let's remove the line on the chart. Now let's go to gradient field. We also want the gradient field, but you see automatically it gets the one for the previous employee ID we use. So let's create a new one. So we start with the one top left on the left. So let me just put a simple color. Let's come here. Let's take maybe this purple. For this right one, we also want the purple. Let's get back to it, but we are going to make it more light. Okay, let's increase the light to maybe this one. Okay, we have I think it looks good. Now for the transparency, let's put 10 for the one on the right, not 5, 10. And for the left, we put 5. And I think everything is okay now. It looks good. So for this one, let's right click well by clicking on the chart. So you come here, we don't want any fill. You see there was a white line here, so we don't want them. Okay, let's copy the title and let's name this maybe attrition by qualification. Okay, well, I think we are good to go. If is there anything else you think I'm forgetting? So let's filter by gender. Everything looks good. Let's filter by qualification. I think it looks good as well. And let's filter by department. It looks good. So if you have been able to complete the project, please let me know in the comments, please. And of course, I want to get to know you guys more. So if you want to introduce yourself, please go ahead. I'll be happy to know you more, So thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe to the channel to also encourage me. But maybe before, the last thing we can do is this one. Let's put the gray color. Okay, let's give it the gray color as you have been doing for the rest. Okay, and for these ones, let's put it like this, gray. What? No, I'm not. Okay, no, yeah, it's here rather, sorry. So let's give it this gray. Okay, let's give it this gray. Now we can see it well and better. Thank you very much. I think it looks good. But for the slicer, since we just have 2 slicer, okay, I think now it looks better, right? So thank you very much. I think everything is set. You can put the logo of your company over there. And thank you very much. You can continue watching my project. And if you have any questions, please put it in the comments. I will be very delighted to answer them. If you want to contact me, just write on my email address, but that is more personal for connections and stuff. Okay, see you. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel to also encourage me to keep making such nice content.